People have forgotten how to communicate with each other. And in this video, I am going to give you 3 tips in order to improve your communication skills so that you don't have to resort to Instagram Reels, to YouTube Shorts, and to social media to engage with other people. No, instead, you can actually go outside and have conversations with real life, flesh and blood people. Conversations that don't make you want to blow your skull to bits. Now, with that being said, the first tip I have for you is to slow down. Take your time when you're speaking. Don't rush to get to the point. Just like in seduction, you don't want to rush to the climax. You want to take your time. Conversations are much like seduction. You want to enhance the foreplay by extending its duration. You want to push it farther than you think is possible. You want to extend it further than you think is comfortable, both for you and the other party. Because what I've learned is that even though you think the pause you have between your words is a really long time, in truth, it isn't. It's only a long time to you, but to the person listening, it's not that long at all. Now, of course, there are exceptions, right? And increasingly, these exceptions are becoming the norm because of social media. We've been raised on YouTube Shorts, on Instagram Reels, on constant videos flooding our timeline, tweets left, right, and center. The overstimulation of our brains with cheap crap, to be quite frank, has made it more difficult to extend your speech, to pause in between various points you have. But it will make your conversations better because by and large, people like when you slow down. They like it, A, because you're going to be more clear. You're going to be more concise. You're going to illustrate your points more articulately because you're not going to say dumb filler words. You're not going to say and but and ooh. You're not going to fill it with crap like so many people do. But secondly, you're going to sound more confident because most people are in a rush. 95% of people are in a rush. They want to say what's on their brain and they just want to spill it because they can't contain it. And what this lack of containment shows is a lack of restraint. People who look to spill every last thought and emotion on their brains, it showcases to the person they're speaking to or to the group of people they're speaking to that they have no restraint and that lack of restraint will likely spill out in other areas of their life. So slow down your speech. Make sure to take healthy pauses. Think of what you want to say and map it out in your brain while you're speaking so that you're always one step ahead of the game. This will make your conversations much better. Now, the second point I want to give you in order to improve your communication skills is not a point that I can really instruct you on directly, but rather something that I found through independent study. And it's that the more you know, the better your conversations are. As in, the more topics of interest you have some knowledge on, the more ideas you've accumulated in your brain, the more learning and education you've put yourself through, the more you're going to be able to pull from various things to make your conversations more lively. If you've traveled the world and you've seen various countries, that's going to help you. If you've studied history, if you've studied religion, if you've studied politics, if you know about sports, if you know about various cities in your country, this will all help you. If you know about various neighborhoods, various hobbies, various skills and crafts, this will help you. The more you can pull on in a conversation, the easier it will be to continue that conversation in a lively manner. Because that's the important thing, right? It doesn't necessarily matter if you get through the conversation. It matters how well the conversation goes. And the more you know, the more fluid you will be because you won't be so worried about what you're going to say next. You will have more of a database to pull from, and therefore you could be more natural, you could be more spontaneous. And really, it will allow you to implement the third tip I have for you, which is to change your tone, to go from really high to really low, to go from slow to really, 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 really fast, to be able to go here and there and here and there, changing it whenever you want, being playful and being serious. The dynamic, the back and forth, the push, or rather the push and the pull. If you can do this in your conversations, you're going to have a much better time, and you're going to make the other person feel much more comfortable. Because really, all three of these tips combine to make you seem very carefree, very detached, very confident. And these are the types of people that people want to speak to. Because most of the time, 95% of the time, like I previously said, people end up interacting with other people who aren't sure of themselves, who can't put on a brave face, who can't restrain themselves, who don't know that much, who aren't that educated, who are always racing to say what's on their mind, who can never listen. And really, that should be the bonus tip here. If you've lasted this long, congratulations. You learned lesson 1, but also you get lesson 4, which is to listen. You don't just want to shut your mouth in between sentences that you utter. You want to listen to the other person. And in fact, the best way to have great conversations is to listen more intently. Listen, listen, listen. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. The more you listen, the more intently you listen to the person that you are communicating with, the better you will be able to bounce ideas off, because you'll actually know what they're saying, not just verbally, not just explicitly, but implicitly. Because if you don't listen to the way they're saying something, while also paying attention to the body language, to the cues that they're giving you below the surface of their unconscious, then you won't know what the real meaning is. And that is the real key. That is the real key. That's why social media, that's why calling over the phone, that's why texting isn't proper communication. And I say proper very clearly for a reason. It's perfectly fine if you want to make plans. It's perfectly fine if you can't meet in person. But it isn't proper because you don't get the full context. You can never get the full context. And that's why I've made this video, is because I want you to go outside. I want you to talk to more people. I want you to learn how to communicate to people in the flesh and blood, because that is where you get the full context. That is where you begin to understand how the human animal works. You can't understand it through Snapchat. You can't understand it through social media outside of recognizing the most negative impulses and the group mentality, the herd mentality. You can see that on social media, but you can't figure out the individual, and you really can't figure out the psychology of man, the psychology of womankind, without interacting with them in person. So if you gain value out of this, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if these tips help you. If you want more videos on communication, how to improve your speaking, please let me know. And as always, have a blessed day. This is the New Da Vinci. I'll see you in the next video.